Once again, good day everyone. I am Sir Jonas and let's proceed to our third lesson in Gen Ed 06 STS. Our topic is intellectual revolutions that define society. So today, we will be discussing several kinds of civilization, a revolution, changes in some paradigm that define society. And at the end of this topic, you should be expected to define intellectual revolutions, identify several intellectual revolutions that, sabi ko nga, created paradigm shift, and then determine the components of personality and compare different civilizations and identify their greatest contributions to the society. Okay? Di ba pag sinabi nating revolution, this is a wide-ranging change in the way something works, organized, or change in people's ideas about it. And ito yung mga pag-uusapan natin for today. Okay? So if you're now ready, so please prepare your module and get your ball pen and ready to fill out those blanks to gain the necessary information about our topic. Okay? So yun. Okay, lilipat ko lang dito. Okay, so let's define what is intellectual revolution. So intellectual revolution is termed used to Greek speculation about nature. It is in the period before Socrates. Therefore, it is also known as the pre-Socratic or non-theological or the first philosophy. Okay? And then tong first philosophy na to, yung first form of philosophy before Socrates, has a characteristic features at meron tayong tatlo. Number one, the world is a natural whole. Sinasabi that supernatural forces do not make anything happen. Okay? Because the world is a natural whole. Okay, then number two characteristic of the first philosophy is that there is a natural order. Therefore, there are laws of nature, di ba nga, na na-discover ng humans. For example, law of gravity, law of inertia, laws of motion, yun nga. Tapos, iba't iba pang klase ng laws of nature. And then, yun nga, sabi ko nga, number three, humans can discover this law. That's the third characteristic in the first philosophy, in the pre-Socratic or non-theological first philosophy. Okay, once again, intellectual revolution is the Greek speculation about nature. Okay? So, yon. And then, alamin natin yung iba't ibang intellectual revolution that defined or created paradigm shift. Okay? So, let's proceed first to the Copernican intellectual revolution. At sino yung tao behind Copernican revolution? He is Nicolaus Copernicus. Okay, Nicolaus Copernicus was a mathematician and an astronomer who proposed that the sun was the stationary in the center of the universe and the earth revolved around it. Okay? Yun nga yung tinatawag na heliocentric model. But before the work of Copernicus, principles of classical astronomy involving the four elements, namely earth, water, air, and fire, were followed. And then, actually, ang first talaga na tao or first thinkers in the period of pre-Socratic age was Thales in the town of Miletus. Thales, if I'm not mistaken. So sa kanya, ang first principle daw niya that the earth or that the world has or yung basic substance ng mundo is water. Okay, yun daw yung pinakakanyang first principle na kung saan, 'di ba, because it is nagiging solid, liquid at gas. Na-observe din niya kasi yung principles ng condensation, rarefaction, evaporation, and so on. And then before din dito sa heliocentric model ni Nicolaus Copernicus, ayun nga, yun nga, dito, ayan, may publish also an essay on the revolution of the heavenly spheres. And then, yun nga, before Nicolaus Copernicus' heliocentric model, there was Aristotle who believed that the earth is the true center of all the orbs carrying the heavenly bodies around it and all motions are uniform and unchanging. Okay. So, kasi ganito 'yun, 'di ba nga sabi ko before sa lesson 1, ang church yung talagang pinaka-center of knowledge and information. Kasi nga yung knowledge and information is in line dun sa turo din ng simbahan. Kaya kung sino man ang tao na mag-oppose dun sa turo ng simbahan, kasi itong kay Aristotle na geocentric model, geo means earth center. Kumbaga, yung turo ni Aristotle, it is abided by the church. It is because, di ba, center yung earth. Kumbaga, di ba, si Lord kinreate niya yung earth. And then, syempre, ibig sabihin lang siguro nun, si Lord, ang focus lang niya talaga is earth kasi dun siya nag-create ng life. Therefore, the earth daw is the center of the universe. But when Nicolaus Copernicus presented his proposal about the heliocentric model, nagkaroon ng malaking impact sa society yun. Kasi, bakit? Ang turo sa amin geocentric model, nagkaroon ng malaking paradigm shift. At bago mangyari 'yun, siyempre si Nicholas Copernicus na-excommunicated siya maaari or talagang maaaring siya nagkaroon siya ng punishment, nag-bear siya ng punishment because of his opposition. Okay. At pinandindigan niya 'yon. At ngayon naman talaga totoo na heliocentric model lang dapat nating sundan. At 'yun nga is nilagay nga niya dun sa essay na kaninang naka-display, which is on the revolutions of heavenly spheres. Okay? So despite ng persecution, so kumbaga na-push pa rin niya ito. Okay? So that is the Copernican revolution. So 'di ba nagkaroon ng paradigm shift in terms of our nature or in terms of the world that the sun pala is the center of the solar system. So yun yung unang naging intellectual revolution. Okay? Next one, let's proceed with the Darwinian intellectual revolution. Okay? Darwin. Sino ba 'to? Si Charles Darwin. So Darwin's theory of evolution is widely held notion that all living organisms are related and have descended from a common ancestors. So according to Darwinian evolution, so it is said that life came from a single-celled organism and then mutated, nag-produce, nag-acquire ng several features and then naging first ganito, first ganyan, nagkaroon ng first plant, first animals, and then na-produce yung apes and then through sa apes daw, na-produce yung humans through evolution. Okay? And then, yun nga, Darwin's general theory presumes the development of life from non-life and stresses a purely naturalistic descent with modification. Okay, so kumbaga, from non-living thing, nagkaroon ng spontaneous generation or spontaneous accumulation of non-living things. For example, is carbon dioxide, interaction of carbon dioxide, ammonia, nitrogen, phosphoric acid. Nagkaroon ng interaction dyan because of some external factors like kidlat. Kasi di ba, at the first place, yung Earth is a hot molten rock, puno-puno ng storms, yung water is a molten lava, ganyan. So kumbaga because of those interactions, yung mga non-living things nagkaroon ng spontaneous accumulation, naging living things, naging first single cell, and then nag-evolve, nag-produce ng first plants and first animals, first plant cells and first animal cells. Okay? And then it explains that complex creatures evolved from more simplistic ancestors naturally over time. Okay? As random genetic mutations occur within an organism's genetic code, the beneficial mutations are preserved because they aid survival, which is a process of natural selection. So, kumbaga, it is uh, organisms which has favorable traits are produced due to random genetic mutation, which leads to the preservations of their descendants. Okay? So yun, nandun nakapaloob dyan yung survival of the fittest, wherein the better adapted the species is, the more fitted it is to reproduce. Okay? So for example, dito sa picture na to, so, paano natin mapapakita yung concept ng natural selection, survival of the fittest, and the process of evolution? So, dito sa environment na parang where rocks are very dark, yung mga black, meron ditong black and tan na mice. And then, sa sky, syempre, may mga nakatirang mga eagle. which is yung diet nila yung mga mice. And then because of the environment itself, yung mga black mice ay nakapag-conform dun sa environment. Therefore, nagkaroon ng process na camouflaging. At ang nangibabaw is yung mga tan na mice. Therefore, ang makikita ng mga eagle as a source of food is yung visible out of dun sa dark rocks, yung mga tan mice. Therefore, ang makakain po ng mga eagles are the tan mice instead ng mga dark. So, nagkaroon ng natural selection between favorable traits. Because of the environment na kung saan black ang rocks, ang magiging favorable po doon is yung mga black mice. Okay? Therefore, ang makakain mostly is yung mga tan na mice. Therefore, magkakaroon ng decrease in the population sa tan mice at increase in the population of the black mice. Okay? Therefore, nagkaroon ng evolution. Guys, lagi yung tatandaan ng evolution is not because nagkaroon ng change in physical form, pero ang evolution also is a change in the genetic composition of the population. Okay? Gaano dumami yung population na may ganitong trait, gaano umunti. Therefore, nagkaroon ng evolution in the population of the mice, of the black mice specifically. At mas umonte yung population ng mga tan mice. Therefore, yung survival of the fittest concept dito is the more adapted ka sa environment, the more you will survive. Okay? Anong kailangan gawin ng mice na to, na tan mice na to, in order for him or her to survive? Maaring una, it's either dahil wala siyang drive na mag-survive, mamamatay lang talaga siya, makakain lang talaga siya. Or maaring magkaroon ng inner drive to survive, mag-create maari ng mutation. So because nandun siya nakatrive sa dark rocks, maaring throughout the generations, mag-mutate yung kanyang genetic material at mag-produce ng mga proteins that will create a black fur, or kahit maaring unti-unti nagke-create ng fur na maaring mag-camouflage dun sa environment ng mga mice. So doon, maaring maging adapt siya. Ang process doon is adaptation. For example naman, giraffe were once na nagkaroon daw ng maliit na or maiksing neck. And because of their inner drive to reach out the trees, kung saan kasi walang pagkain doon sa walang pagkain sa baba. Kasi syempre kung maliit lang leeg mo, maaring hindi mo maabot yung ground kasi maliit lang yung leeg mo, 'di ba? Tapos ang common source of food lang ng mga giraffe ay yung mga leaves sa taas. So, kung sino lang ang magkaroon ng drive na mag-survive, sila yung mag-i-stretch yung neck nila hanggang sa humaba ng humaba. Nag-adapt sila dun sa environment at nag-survive sila at naging fit sila for that kind of environment. Humaba yung leeg nila, naging giraffe na mahaba ang leeg. At yung mga hindi nag-adapt or hindi nagkaroon ng drive na mag-survive, namatay. Okay? That is the concept of natural selection, survival of the fittest ni Charles Darwin. Kaya nga siya ang tinaguri ang father of evolution. Okay? So, yun po ang concept nun. Next one is another intellectual revolution from a very great psychoanalytic philosopher, which is Simon Freud. Okay? Simon Freud is the father of psychoanalysis and one of the 20th century's most influential thinkers. He believed that when people explain their behavior to themselves or others, they rarely give a true account of their motivation. Not because they are deliberately lying, but because they are more adept at self-deception. Ganyan ka ba? Okay? So, rationalizations of people's conducts are therefore disguising the real reasons. Okay? And then, nag-create din si Simon Freud ng structural theory of personality that emphasize the role of unconscious psychological conflicts in shaping behavior and personality. Ano ba pag sinabing personality? Personality is the combination of characteristics or qualities that form an individual's distinctive character. At ano nga ba yung tatlong major components ng personality or major components of the mind na ipinropose ni Simon Freud. So kumbaga, itong three components na to, three component parts of the mind, affects the human behavior. At ito yon, meron tayong id, ego, and superego. Okay, the id, ego, and the superego. Ano nga ba yung id? Ano nga ba yung ego? Ano nga ba yung superego? So number one, id. So the id is made up of unconscious psychic energy that works to satisfy the basic urges, needs, and desires. It is the only part of the personality that is present at birth, and that is this primitive component of personality existed wholly within the unconscious. So sinabi na ito ay present daw in birth kasi nga 'di ba during our time nung baby pa tayo, ang pinaka gusto lang natin pagkalabas natin sa tiyan ng nanay natin is umiyak at magutom at humingi ng gatas, mag-seek ng attention. Kasi yun lang yung part ng buhay natin na kailangan ma-satisfy yung basic needs, urges, and desires natin. Kaya nga tinatawag din 'tong primitive component of the personality. For example, ganito, paano mapapakita yung id, 'di ba? Halimbawa, yung baby, dinedede ng nanay, tinanggal ng nanay yung dede niya dun sa baby, iiyak siya. Okay, kumbaga yung id yung mangingibabaw kasi ang kailangan ng baby is ma-satisfy yung basic needs niya. Kaya kapag umiiyak ang baby, gutom na yun. O napapapansin na ang baby. Paano pag malaki na tayo? For example, eto, mangingibabaw ang id kapag halimbawa, may nakita kang kumakain ng cake, tapos gusto mong kainin yung cake niya. Ang gagawin mo pag nangibabaw ang id sa'yo is being rude, kahit na rude yon, kukunin mo yung cake niya. Okay? Kahit na sa iba naman talaga yon. Okay? What would just matter is that you wanted the cake. Yun lang yun. Kumbaga gusto mo lang yung cake, kukunin mo kung gaano ka ka-rude kapag kinuha mo yon. Okay? Primitive. Basta masatisfy yung basic needs, urges, and desire. Another example is that, halimbawa, nakastop yung stoplights, tatawid ka sa tamang daanan. Hindi mahalaga sa iyo kung may dumadaang sasakyan, mabilis na dumadaang sasakyan, or kahit naka-stop talaga, basta makatawid ka kahit naka-stop yung light. Basta masatisfy mo yung need mong makatawid, gagawin mo. That is id. That is your unconscious, primitive personality. Okay? In terms of pleasure, 'di ba? In terms of pleasure, um, yun, madaming tao din na talagang hindi nila naiisip yung ginagawa nila basta ma-satisfy lang yung pleasure nila. In terms of flesh, in terms of anything, okay? So next naman is the superego. Superego naman is composed of people's internalized ideas or ideals acquired from parents and society. So itong superego works to suppress the urges of the id and tries to make the ego behave morally rather than realistically. So aside from the morals and values that people have learned from their parents, the ideals that contribute to the formation of the superego also includes ideas of right and wrong, that they acquire from society and culture in which they live in. So kumbaga, itong si superego, this is your conscience. Okay, kumbaga, ito yung nagdidikta kung tama ba yan, tama ba yung ginagawa mo, parang mali naman ata yan. Tapos, binabalance niya rin yung gagawing action ni ego. For example, ganito, kung mag-work yung super ego, hindi mo kukunin yung cake. Kumbaga, hindi mo kukunin basta-basta yung cake kasi alam mo na masama or it is rude to take someone's cake, di ba? Kung kainin mo yung cake ng iba, di ba? And then, ganyan yung super ego. For example naman, ganito. Halimbawa, ganito, sa stoplight din. Naka-stop yung light, pero nakita mo na wala naman talagang tumatawid ng sasakyan. Talagang maluwag pwedeng tumawid. Yung iba tumatawid kasi pinangibabaw nila yung id nila. Pero dahil may super ego ka or na-empower yung super ego mo, kahit na nakastop yan at kahit na walang dumadaang sasakyan, hindi ka pa rin tatawid unless mag-go signal yon. Okay? That is the super ego. Okay? That is your conscience. That is the one that dictates what is right and what is wrong. And lastly is the ego. Okay, the ego is the one that mediates the demand of the id, yung primitive, yung urges ng id, and also the super ego. Okay? Minemediate niyo yun. Siya yung nagiging gitna. Okay? Tapos parang i-dinadirect niya rin sa kung ano yung realidad. Okay? It prevents people from acting on their basic urges created by the id and works to achieve a balance with their moral and idealistic standard created by the superego. Kumbaga parang hindi niya kino-compromise yung need ni id at yung need ni superego. Binabalance niya at ikino-conform niya so kung ano yung realistic. Okay? The ego operates based on the reality principle, which works to satisfy its desire in a manner that it is realistically and socially appropriate. It is less primitive than the id and is partly conscious and partly unconscious. So, if you see someone with a cake, halimbawa nakita mong may kumakain ng cake, gusto mong kainin yung cake niya, imbes na kunin yung cake niya, ang gagawin mo na lang is bibili ka ng sarili mong cake. Therefore, na-satisfy mo yung id mo, yung need mong kumain ng cake, at the same time, hindi ka nakagawa ng mali. Which is yung need ni superego. Your ego will mediate between the id and the superego and your urge to satisfy your desire for cake while also avoiding the shame on getting somebody's cake. Freud believed that the id ego and superego are instant conflict and that adult personality and behavior are rooted in the results of these internal struggles throughout childhood. 'Di ba kapag halimbawang bata tayo, talagang mas nangingibabaw siguro sa atin yung id kasi gusto natin tayo yung center of attention. Kapag ay ibili sa atin ni nanay yung gusto nating bilhin, mag-iiyak tayo, gugulong tayo sa mall, ganyan. Wala pa tayong ego and superego. Siguro iyang mga yan is made-develop when we enter the puberty, adulthood stage. Kasi doon na yung time na magke-create na tayo ng desisyon na dapat is tama and according sa reality. Okay, kasi itong super ego, yan is nake-create or nafo-form because of our parents, nagtiteach sila ng mga right or wrong, yung school which gives through character education, di ba, natuturuan tayo ng mga ano, tsaka yung church din because they gave us some doctrines and principles about right or wrong. Okay? So yung ego, yan na yung magiging application ng natutunan ni id at natutunan ni iba-balance niya. Okay? So, sa comment section, ito ang tanong. Sige, I want you to recite as your part of recitation in attendance, together with your name and together with your name section, ano ang mas importante? Ano yung pinaka-importante sa lahat? Id, ego, or super ego? So please comment down below. Okay, what is the most important? Id, ego, or super ego? Okay. So those are the three, major intellectual revolution that created a paradigm shift, 'di ba? Copernican theory created as a paradigm shift from being geocentric to heliocentric. Darwinian created a paradigm shift from not knowing the purpose of evolution from knowing our ancestors. And Freudian revolution allows us to discover one's mind and behavior. Okay? And right now, we will be discovering several revolutions and civilizations na nag-create din or nag-affect din sa society natin. O, ito pala, nakalimutan ko. So, di ba, kay Id, sa madaling sabi, Id, I want it now. Gusto ko siyang makuha. Gusto ko siyang crush ko. Sabi ni Super Ego, you can't. You can't have it. It's not right. And then, sabi ni Ego, I need to do a bit of planning to get it. So, kumbaga, pag-iisipan niya mo ng, pag-iisipan niya muna bago niya makuha. So, si Ego yung nag-mediate talaga. Okay? So, yun. Punta na tayo sa next, information revolution. Na-discuss natin siya sa first lesson, di ba? Yan yung digital age. Okay? Nag-start siya sa Gutenberg Revolution. Para din siyang Gutenberg Revolution. Okay? So, the information revolution accompanied the history of mankind and began as early as 3000 BC with Sumerian pictographs. So, ito na sa gilid. Okay? Sumerian pictographs. Wait lang, class. Okay. Some of the milestones of these information revolutions are Gutenberg's invention of the movable type printing press in 1455, this one. And then the work of Augusta and Babbage on analytical engine in early 1830s. The invention of first telephone by Alexander Graham Bell and Alan Turing's work during World War II. Okay, ang pagfo-focusan natin dito ay yung kay Alan Turing. Okay? Sa Information Revolution, Alan Turing, which is a British mathematician who considered information revolution as the fourth revolution following the Copernican, Darwinian, and Freudian. He provided fundamental contributions to computer science by refining the concepts of algorithm and computation with what came to be called the Turing machine. So ito po yung Turing machine niya na sinasabi. And this paved way to the development of artificial intelligence. So he contributed the Turing test concerning the possibility of developing conscious and thinking machines in artificial intelligence. So, kumbaga ganito yon. Yung Turing test is a test na kung saan, for example, ito, si questioner. Ito si questioner, then magtatanong siya kay computer, magkikreate siya ng question, isisend niya kay computer as well as dito sa human respondent. And then, syempre, magsasend ng answer si human respondent as well as si computer. And then, niya-identify ni human questioner kung kanino galing yung sagot. Kung itong sagot na to is from computer or from human respondent. So, yun yung Turing test. Kumbaga, parang ina-identify kung capable na ba ang computer for artificial intelligence. Okay? Information revolution triggers profound changes in both the way we conduct our lives and the way we perceive ourselves as human beings. Because of this development in information, in computer technology, talagang nagkaroon ng malaking changes in how we live as a person. Right now, pupunta na tayo sa 4 major civilizations that define the society. So, 4 siya. Meron tayong Mesoamerican, Asian, Middle East, and African civilization. So let's proceed with the first civilization, the Mesoamerican civilization. Okay? The Mesoamerica was a region and cultural area in the Americas extending from approximately central Mexico to Belize, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, and northern Costa Rica. And was where pre-colonial societies flourished. So, di ba yung mga pre-colonial societies are the Aztec, the Mayan, and the Incas. Okay? So, archaeologists have dated human presence in Mesoamerica to possibly early to 21,000 BCE. By 11,000 BCE, hunting and gathering communities occupied most of the New World. Okay, and then these were the following major contributions or advancement in the Mesoamerican civilization. They contributed greatly in agriculture because as early as 7,000 BC, the cultivation of cacao, corn, beans, tomatoes, squash, chili, as well as the domestication of turkey and dog made the transition from Paleo-Indian hunter-gatherer tribal grouping to the organization of sedentary agricultural villages. Okay? And then the main food sources of the Mesoamerican were what they called the Three Sisters. Okay? The Three Sisters. They were the beans, corn, and squash. Okay? Growing these three crops together aided in retaining the nutrients of the soil kasi nga nagkakaroon ng crop rotation. And then, yung cacao nga was considered as another culturally important crop because 'di ba nasabi ko na rin it is used in trade currency as well as rituals, okay? And then yung mga cotton plants as well as rubber trees were used in making culturally significant products such as textile sa cotton and rubber balls sa rubbers. And then yung mga rubber balls on the other hand, yung mga rubber balls is ginagawa nila or ginagamit nila for performance games because this was related to the myths of the Mesoamerica due to ritual significance. So parang more on performance games, sports, as well as rituals. Okay? So yun po ang kanilang major contributions or major advancements. Another was various cultivation techniques were done by the Mesoamerican farmers to combat lack of usable land and poor soil conditions. Combination of crop rotation and slash burn technique to retain as many nutrients as possible was done. So ito po yung sa slash burn technique. So kumbaga, they will first get the tree, puputulin muna yung mga halaman, and then saka susunugin, okay? And with that, dun mo mare-retain yung mga soil nutrients. Tapos, syempre, crop rotation, dun sa mga three sisters na crops, so nare-retain yung nutrients. Okay? And then, Mesoamerican farmers also formed terraces. So, yung mga Incas, di ba? Yung mga Incas yon. They formed terraces along the slope of mountain valleys. Okay? And then these terraces was made of stone walls while others were made by cutting down large trees from slash burn techniques and mounding soil around them. And then um, Mesoamerican natives were also the first to use irrigation techniques. Okay? And aside from agriculture, syempre kilala po ang Mesoamerican sa pagke-create ng first known calendar. So, meron silang tatlong klase ng calendar. So, parang hindi siya masyadong nadi-display dito. Okay, so there's three calendars. Meron siyang tatlong function. Civil calendar, agricultural calendar, or yung combined, pati yung ceremonial calendar. Yung civil calendar is the Haab. And then, yung ceremonial calendar for ceremonial purposes is the Cholkin calendar. Ito yung Haab, ito yung Cholkin. And then, combined, they help in the creation of complicated long calendars that track both planetary movement and the movement of constellations. Yung agricultural calendar, yun yung Aztec calendar. Okay? So those are the major contributions of the Mesoamerican civilization that defined their society. Okay? Next one, let's proceed to the Asian civilization, which is one of the richest then. Okay? Asia bore two of the world's great city or great early civilization, one from India and one from China. Okay? Around about 4,000 years ago, civilization arose in the Indus Valley. Ayan, in the Indus Valley. People used weapons and utensils made of bronze and copper. And then, yung shops doon is established around the major city which is Mohenjo-Daro sa India. Okay? And then, in addition, the region served as a birthplace of two of the world's known religions sa India, the Buddhism and Hinduism. Number one is the Hinduism. Hinduism was based on the four sacred books called Vedas, which hold the records of Indian history and belief and were written by the Aryan people who invaded the region from the north around 1500 BCE. So ito po yung parang kanilang caste system. Okay, yung caste system nila na kung saan the people were divided based on their caste system. So Brahmas or the Brahmins, the priests are the highest and the lowest are the outcast or tinatawag din nila as sorry, as untouchables. Okay, yung gitna naman to mga Kshatriyas, the warriors and the rulers, Vaishyas, farmers and traders, and yung isa pinakababa is the Shudras, which are the laborers. Okay? Okay. And then, Buddhism naman, on the other hand, embraces followers who praises Buddha, who is Siddhartha Gautama. Okay? Meaning, Buddha, the enlightened one. Yan. Si Siddhartha Gautama is a wanderer who believed that human greed and selfishness lead to human pain. So siguro may part na parang tama naman kasi once na ikaw nagkaroon ng selfishness or greed, darating at darating sa point na masasaktan ka lang din. Okay? Yon. Sa Asian civilization, so yun sa Indian, nag-contribute sila sa two major religions. In Asian civilization, meron din naman sila na na major religion, which is Confucianism. Okay, yung Confucianism emphasized on personal and governmental morality, correctness, or social relationships, justice, and sincerity. Di ba sa kanila din nagmula yung golden rule na do not do to others what you want them not to do to you. Okay? So, yun. And then, people also built the Great Wall of China. Great Wall of China headed by their governor, Shi Huangdi. Okay? It was built to protect themselves from the invasion of barbarians from other parts of Asia. Commonly, ang pinakakanilang enemy are the Mongolian people or the people from Mongolia. Okay? And other than that, napakarami pa rin nilang mga iba't ibang klase ng civilization. Okay? Next one is the Middle East civilization, which is siguro nung inyong grade 9 or third year, isa to sa mga pinaka-memorable. Middle East civilization is considered as the home to the cradle of civilization, where many of the world's oldest culture and civilization were seen. Di ba dyan yung Mesopotamia, the Fertile Crescent, Sumeria, Babylonia. Okay? And that the history started from the earliest human settlements, continuing through several major pre- and post-Islamic empires through the modern collection of nation-states covering the Middle East today. Okay? Di ba nga, yan. And then, the Middle East civilization was the first to develop the first writing system in the world in the form of cuneiform or cuneiform. C-U-N-I C-U-N-E-I form. And then, yun. And then, they also invented the potter's wheel and then the vehicular mill wheel and created the first generalized government and law codes, which serve as a birthplace to the city-states with their high degree of division labor as well as the laying foundation for astronomy and mathematics. So, di ba parang siguro may isa doon yung sa Babylon, di ba meron sila talagang commandments na ito lang kailangan gawin, ito yung mga law codes nila, tapos dun din nag-create ng mga major changes. And then, however, its empires also introduced rigid social stratification, slavery, and organized warfare. Okay, nagkaroon din syempre ng foundation in um, astronomy and mathematics. In addition, class, yung mga earliest writing system nila simply evolved from pictures baked on clay tablets and which were turned now into symbols and gradually transformed into phonetic elements. And the last is African civilization. So this is the last civilization. So according to some historians, the mga African daw were nothing more than savages whose only contributions to the world were farming and slaves. Parang alam mo nyo ba yung movie na ano yun? 3 years a slave na kung saan pinakita doon kung gaano naging slave ang mga African under British empires. But on the contrary, the history of ancient Africa is just as interesting, complex, and sophisticated as any other ancient civilization. Okay? So kumbaga, the lineage and culture of achievements have emerged at least 40,000 years ago in Africa. And this includes in the field of mathematics, astronomy, metallurgy, agriculture, and engineering, navigation, and as well as medicine. Okay? And then in mathematics, modern concepts in mathematics like the first method of counting is developed in Africa. People in present-day Zaire and Yoruba people in what is now Nigeria developed their own numeration system 8,000 years ago. The Yoruba system was based on units of 20 instead of 10 and required impressive amounts of subtraction to identify different numbers. Yeah. And scholars lauded this system because it requires much abstract reasoning. In terms naman po in astronomy, a structure known as African Stonehenge in present-day Kenya, which is constructed around 300 BC, was remarkably an accurate calendar. And then meron din mga people from Dogon of Mali have various astronomical discoveries wherein they knew the Saturn's ring, wow, grabe, diba? Jupiter's moon, the spiral structure of the Milky Way, and the orbit of Sirius star. Many advances in metallurgy and toolmaking were also made across ancient Africa. This includes steam engines, metal chisels and saws, copper and iron tools and weapons, nail, glue, carbon, steel, and bronze weapons and arts. Okay, nagkaroon din ng iba't ibang advances pala in the field of metallurgy. Okay, before pa dumating ang Europe. Kasi ito, mostly talagang Africa is an empire from Europe, specifically sa British. Okay? Advances in Tanzania also surpassed those of the Europeans. And were astonishing to Europeans when they learned of them. And ancient Tanzanian furnaces could reach 1,800 degrees Celsius, warmer than those of the Romans. Grabe yung palang mas angat din pala sila in this field compared sa mga European. Okay? And syempre, 'di ba, African Empire of Egypt developed a vast array of diverse structures and great architectural monuments along the Nile, which is the largest and the most famous of which the Great Pyramid of Giza and the Great Sphinx of Giza were located. And then, um, yun, in the 12th century, hundreds of great cities in Zimbabwe and Mozambique made of massive stone complexes and huge castle-like compounds are existed. And then in terms naman din ng medicine, ito napaka-advanced din ng mga African in terms of medicine. It is because some of their practices use plants with salicylic acid for pain, kaolin for diarrhea, and use extracts that were confirmed to kill gram-positive bacteria. So nagkaroon na din pala sila ng introduction about microbiology. And then, medicines in Africa is more advanced than Europe. Ito yung totoo. Kasi before pa lang dumating ang mga Europeans, napaka-advanced na rin ng kanilang medicine. And these medical procedures performed in ancient Africa include vaccination, filling the dental cavities, autopsy, installation of false teeth, limb traction, anesthesia, broken bone setting, tissue cauterization, bullet removal, brain surgery, and skin grafting. So, iyan yung isa din sa pinaka ma-distinguish natin in African civilization, their medicine, which were more advanced than European. Okay? Though parang may stereotype ang mga African as a slaves of European, but before sila maging empire ng Europe, ganito ang naging civilization nila, which is talagang nagkaroon din ng malaking change sa kanila. Okay? So those are the major intellectual revolutions that define society from several peoples like Copernicus, Darwin, Freud, and from some civilization. So I hope you learn well in our topic, and don't forget to put your name and your answer to the question, what is the most important, id, ego, and super ego, at the comment section below. So that's it, class. Thank you so much. You may now proceed to your Google Classroom page for your discussion question, quiz, and your unit activity, because today you will now start answering your unit quiz or unit test and your unit activity. I hope you will do it well, and I hope you learn a lot from this lesson. Thank you so much, class, and have a good day. God bless everyone. Thank you for listening.